What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and are you ready to set some intentions this week? Because we got a pretty light one, but the lovely Venus is getting ready to activate a new area of our chart, so we're going to be magnetizing some new things here, so attracting some new stuff, creating some new things too, hopefully here. But we'll get into that, and then we got Mercury and Saturn that are going to be having a conversation to help us kind of understand all of it. But we'll get into that in a moment. But before we jump into this thing again, my name is Justin, and if you're new here, I'm happy you're here. But one of the things that I do is do the celestial chit chat that's going on in the sky, Celestial News Weekly. And this week I'm going to be covering November 7th through the 13th. And let's go ahead and get into this thing. I feel word salad a brewing. But on Moon Day, that's going to be the 11th of November, the lovely Venus is going to be entering into Capricorn at about 10:26 a.m. And that's going to be Pacific time. Now, depending on what house system you use, I work with whole sign houses. So if that's something you work with, Venus is going to be activating a brand new chart going to be activating a new house for you. So you're going to want to go look to see where you have Capricorn in your chart. And if you're using other ones where you kind of have split, you still want to look because Venus is going to be moving into a different frequency, which I feel she does very well, she can do well in Capricorn. Because Capricorn, they're traditionally ruled by Saturn, and they are the cardinal earth sign. So they're one of the initiators of the zodiac. And earth sign they have this ability to really work very well with the physical, whether that be with the body or whether it's building things in this realm. And they're feminine in nature, so there's a receptivity that comes with that. So Capricorn, I feel, when you combine that, they are ones that are about building things for the long haul. That's why I feel like Capricorns are very excellent planners when it comes to that and thinking about building their quote unquote empire. And so I feel Venus can do very well here. So when you think about Venus, the nature of Venus is to create harmony, Venus has the ability to bring about to attract or magnetize the things that we need in order to make this experience more pleasurable. Whether that be, let's say maybe this is activating your sixth house, so maybe things have been you're wanting to bring more harmony to your job space, or maybe you're wanting to get a bit more sleep, or maybe you've been dealing with a lot of stress, or maybe need to do a new workout routine, maybe change up your eating style, or maybe this is activating your 11th house, or you're looking at your friendships. You're thinking about the future that you're creating. Whatever this is, I would say take this time to really kind of evaluate, because with Venus, she's all about building, especially again, I feel like in Capricorn, she's building things of long-term beauty. I mean, she does that. She sustains that in Taurus. But this is where I feel the blueprint starts. And so I feel with Venus entering here, this is one where she's really getting down to business and kind of just examining, all right, this is what's not been feeling well. I feel this is not the thing that I've been wanting to attract. This is not something that I've been, and again, wherever this is activating for you, this is just not what I'm wanting. If you've been feeling that, how can you adjust that and fix that? But just pay attention to, again, with that Capricorn energy, pay attention to how you're receiving this area of your chart when you're thinking about whatever this energy is asking you to reflect on, and just seeing how it sits with you. Now, if you're feeling that everything is going pretty smooth in this area of your chart, how can we take it to the next level and improve upon this solid foundation that you're working on? How is Venus, are we moving some things around? This could be a great time. Let's say if you just moved into a new place, for example, maybe this is activating your fourth house. Maybe you've moved into a place and now you're wanting to add more style, more of your personality. This could be like getting some new cutlery, or maybe this could be redoing the floors, or maybe maybe you're wanting to add a garden to it. Maybe you're wanting to get some artwork. Maybe you're wanting to take a class to create your own artwork to add to this thing. Whatever this is looking like. But, this doesn't have to just be starting up necessarily something new. But maybe you want to paint a room. Maybe you're thinking I'm looking at these white walls. maybe you wanted a bit more color. And here's something to just and do something very Venusian that's going to have some quality. You know what, too? I would say this could be a great energy for, if this is like for maybe fourth house stuff, for example, maybe investing in like a couch, for example, doing something that's going to, maybe you've been getting just like some, like, I'm just thinking of like, maybe we've been shopping at like Target, for example, and there's nothing wrong with Target, but maybe you're wanting to get yourself a nice shirt, for example. Maybe this is happening in your first house. You want to upgrade your appearance a little bit, feeling a bit more, so you can attract maybe more abundance in things along those lines. Maybe you're wanting to get a new hairstyle, whatever that's looking like. So really explore and just get really creative when we're working with this kind of Venusian energy here. I like Venus in Capricorn. Now let's get to the next energy, because on Mars Day, the 12th of November, at about 5:22 a.m., Mercury is going to be forming a square with Saturn retrograde. And this is going to be happening at 12 degrees and 42 minutes. Mercury's in Sagittarius and Saturn is retrograde in Pisces. Now, when you think about this, both of these signs, Sagittarius and Pisces, are traditionally ruled by Jupiter. And so this is looking at, I feel, areas where you can, Jupiter's been going through Gemini for a while, and I feel like maybe if you, with this Venus ingress, since she'll be under the rulership of Saturn in this, maybe you're thinking about these things, and it's just like, okay, how do I want to make my workspace more, or my work environment more harmonious? Do I want to create like a team building exercise? Do I want to encourage some sort of like outing, or do I need to just change my job altogether? This because what happens with squares are kind of, they're harder aspects to work with. They bring about a call to action. I like to think of them as Martian, or like Mars in influence and kind of nature, and they can bring about this irritation, especially when we're coming up against a planet like Saturn. There may be we're seeing some limits, we're seeing some boundaries, and it could just be, I could see this as a limit of imagination, as far as like you can feel maybe trapped in something, and it's just like, oh, how can I get out of this? I want this intention, I want to attract this thing, and it's not coming by fast enough. But luckily, I feel this can be the time to just like get the idea out there, to put it out in the ether, not necessarily telling other people, but just getting yourself riled up. Because I find when sometimes we can talk about certain things, or we have new ideas, and maybe we go to discuss it with someone, maybe they're not seeing the vision that you're seeing, and they could potentially get you where you get in a bit of a funk, where it could, their limited view only be just, and I say limited because they're not in your head, their limited view may put restrictions on you that aren't really yours. So I would say this could be something, if you have an idea, working with an expert. Maybe you're wanting to get a new suit, go to the store. You don't have to buy the thing, just talk about what's, maybe you just want to get sized up to see. Actually, just the other day, I went to try on something. I was like, you know what, I haven't been liking how these things have been fitting, and I tried on something a little bit smaller, and it was just like, oh wow, this actually fits really nice. Maybe I need to try doing, like, it was a nice little feel. It's like, maybe I need to think about just like again, like clothing size, for example. Or maybe this could be, if this is like a house thing, going to maybe not buy the paint, but just go entertain colors. Like, okay, you know what, I think this kitchen would look good in the sage, or maybe this would be good in a lavender. Maybe I want to do something bolder. Maybe I want to do like a royal purple. Maybe none of these pastel colors. But that's what I could see this as. Just like, if you're finding a self challenge, look for maybe someone who's like an expert in what this thing is that you're maybe wanting to bring together. Maybe you want to look into changing a career or advancing in a career. This could be just looking at some videos of some people whose courses maybe you're interested at. See if they have some things that you can do a little window shopping, or quote unquote like coach shopping in a sense. See what kind of stuff is out there. So that's one thing that I could see this as, because where I see Saturn maybe setting a restriction again is in Pisces. I feel like it's that imagination, and sometimes when we have these great ideas that like Sag energy, because Sag is that mutable fire energy of Jupiter, but I feel like sometimes when we think about the things that we need to do, that Pisces water could extinguish some of that Sag energy, some of that Sag drive there. So just some things I feel like to kind of entertain there. But I think by the time that Saturn goes direct, which we'll talk about in the next week's, or following week's video, I think that that will help kind of set, like, things will start setting more in motion. But this is about just like holding the idea and letting those kind of thoughts maybe this could be a great time for a vision board, or even just like writing the things down and just like set a date on the calendar. Check out this date for whatever task that you're doing. So, but I think I feel like that's a pretty solid kind of outline for the week. Again, it's a pretty lighter one, so work with this. Figure out what are some ways. You don't have to set like all the intentions. Start small and then big. Capricorn is about, with Venus being in Capricorn, Rome wasn't built in a day. Nothing is built in a day. You know, it needs that time with Capricorn. And I feel Saturn, where Saturn may delay things, Saturn won't deny things if we're setting aside a plan and we're thinking about this stuff again long term when we're talking with Capricorn and working with Saturn. So just some things to meditate on. But yeah, I think that's all I got for you. And if you find yourself maybe having a hard time working with some emotions and things, if you want to, down in the description box below, I have a link for my other channel, The Chariot and Friends, where I talk about different lunar shenanigans and talk about how to work with the moon. I even do some tarot card spreads there, so maybe there might be some messages, some inspirations there for you. So if that's something that resonates, definitely check that down below. But until next time, keep raising that consciousness and that vibration through the roof to Venus. And I will get you on the next one, Mercury Day.